Hello, welcome to the presentation, The Role of Clinicians in the Development of an AI-based diagnostic tool for speech-language disorders in children. My name is Barbara de Sel, and I am the Health Research Advisor at IVADO. I will be the moderator for this presentation. Before to start, I'd like to say a few words. As the presentations are back-to-back and we will ensure to be respectful of the time of each guest speaker, I will play the role of the time master. I will indicate that there are 2 minutes left or that it's time for the last question. For questions, there is no audio interaction option with the platform. You can use the chat box on the right side of your screen. Please use the question tab, otherwise I could miss some of your questions. Finally, all presentations are recorded and will be available later. Now, let me introduce you to Dr. Güven. Dr. Selçuk Güven worked for many years as a researcher and clinical educator in the field of speech-language pathology at different universities such as McGill, Purdue, and he also received the prestigious IVADO Postdoc Entrepreneur Fellowship to bring AI into the field of speech-language pathology. After working with hundreds of children with speech-language disabilities and their parents, he decided to bring his expertise and research to life and help both clinicians and children with speech-language disorders. He currently is the founder of Ling AI, where he aims to develop a customized speech recognition technology targeting children with speech and language disorders. AI has great potential to solve diagnostic problems in various medical conditions. However, the involvement of clinicians in the development of such technologies is crucial. The goal of his presentation is to show the importance and impact of collaborating with clinicians in the development phase of AI technologies from a real example. So now, Selçuk, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Barbara. Hi, everyone. Thanks. And my name is Selçuk Güven. I'm the founder of Ling AI. And besides that, I'm a clinical researcher and worked for years as clinician as well. Today, I'm going to talk about our experiences working with clinicians and the benefits of collaborating with them in developing an AI-based assistive technology. But before that, I'd like to give a little bit background about what we do at Ling AI. Imagine your child has just begun to produce her first sentences, like these ones. But you started to worry that she might be lagging behind her peers, and you may ask other parents or your doctor, and they may tell you, don't worry, just wait and she'll grow it. But what if they aren't right and it turns out to be a serious cognitive disorder that has long-term consequences? Speech-language disorders are developmental cognitive problems that affect around 10 to 15% of children globally. Although its prevalence is higher than some other neurodevelopmental problems, such as autism, the awareness about this condition is much lower than it. What kind of disorders are we talking about? So these children can't express themselves properly, and they show a wide variety of speech-language errors. And these kinds of problems may seem very obvious to you. However, many neurodevelopmental disorders exhibit similar symptoms in communication. And also in the course of normal development, the kids show sometimes errors that are similar to the ones with disorders. Therefore, differential diagnosis becomes essential. And besides their communication problems, they encounter secondary problems such as psychological, behavioral problems, as well as problems in academic success. So in the long term, all of these problems together have serious impacts on children and also their parents' lives. So what can you do currently if your child faces a problem like this? You need to bring your child to a speech pathologist, but current practice is inefficient. Wait time is too long, and in most provinces in Canada, a child has to wait between 6 to 8 months for the initial service. And it's a time-consuming process as well. It takes 2 to 3 hours per child to find out what the problem is. Also, there is high rate of misdiagnosis, and it's even higher in multilingual children due to the complexity of the problem and subjectivity in clinical practice. It's also costly to parents and governments. So as a parent, you may be wondering if there is a more practical, affordable, and also an accurate solution. This is where we are coming. At Lingo AI, we offer clinicians and parents an assistive technology that uses customized voice recognition for abnormal speech and a machine learning algorithm for detailed error analysis. All you need to do is to record the person using any device and upload it into our secure platform and get the results immediately. Our technology is not limited to the use of diagnosis. It also allows to monitor the development and track the progress and use it for therapeutic practices as well. Also, adults with speech disorders can greatly benefit from our tool. Beyond any doubt, this solution will help clinicians by saving their time drastically and allowing them to do more diagnosis. Also, the entire process will require no technical analysis nor information. Therefore, it's going to be less complex for clinicians at any experience level. However, more importantly, this will help all those children who receive early intervention and reduce the number of undetected children and many more benefits to the parents and the society. Our goal is to reduce the workload of 300,000 clinicians in North America. We also want to empower parents of 100 million children with and without speech disorders and reduce their anxiety. While there are many industries in which this technology can be applied, such as integrating it with tools like Siri and Alexa for accessibility purposes, we will first apply this for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes. Yet, we are not alone in this journey, and different partners support and help us on building this technology. St. Justine Hospital's orthophony unit is one of them, along with a few other private clinics in Montreal. Apart from being our partners in the beta testing phase, our partnership goes beyond that, and that it includes active involvement of clinicians in different aspects of the project. Now I'd like to proceed to the second part, why it's crucially important to collaborate with clinicians from the very beginning of the development of such a clinical tool and to get most benefit from it. As many of you already know, there are different challenges the startups face, especially in the early phases. And for medical technologies, it's even more challenging. For instance, the validation of the clinical problem is one of the fundamental challenge to tackle. Then there are medical market-specific challenges, such as long sales cycle, different buyers, payers, and in different regions, etc. Another challenge for medical AI startups, maybe also the most important or difficult one, is to have access to verified and clean clinical data. This becomes extremely important for diagnostic solutions where the algorithm relies on behavioral data. And different professional regulations are another challenge. And for startups, it's very important to be aware of these at early stages. Nowadays, the black box AI algorithms have started to raise concerns as well, particularly in medical fields, and clinicians wanting to know the decision steps of the machines in the diagnosis of different disorders, especially some cognitive, psychiatric, or geriatric diseases that rely on behavioral data. Related to these, there's another challenge which may be as important as others in the process of adoption such technology, which is consumer belief or misconceptions towards the way AI works and reliability and validity of such models. Let me dive a bit deeper and explain why this last point requires specific attention and treatment. This claim is stemming from the survey results we received a while ago to understand the market and the needs better. We've collected data from 600 parents of children with speech-language disorders and around 100 clinicians across US and Canada. In this market research, while the vast majority of the parents confirmed that the service they received in the past or recent or still wasn't satisfying for several reasons like cost, long wait time, and even the quality of the service. However, We have also asked them about what will be their biggest concern if they have a chance to use this artificial intelligence-based diagnostic solution. Interestingly, more than half of the parents said that they will question the accuracy of the diagnosis, and also around half of the parents said that the quality of the service will be questionable. Please note that we gave them some background info about our experiences in this field, and also that we've tested this more than 300 children. So these results indicate that despite their high level of dissatisfaction with the current service, the parents seem reluctant or dubious using such a technology, even if it's way cheaper and accurate than existing ones, because it concerns their child's health. On the other hand, when we asked the same question to clinicians, again, more than half of them said they will question the validity and reliability of the diagnosis, and a little less than 50% of them were concerned about data privacy. These results kind of surprised us, and we think it will pose a serious challenge for the adoption of this technology unless they are tackled. We reflected on these issues and decided to increase our collaboration with parents, clinicians, and regulatory bodies to make them part of the process and the solution, and also addressing their concerns. Then we built a roadmap and increased the quality and quantity of our collaboration with them. So what does it look like now? First and foremost, we work with them closely to validate the problems they are facing continuously. And secondly, technical level collaboration, which concerns empowering clinicians on our technology, AI models, and its decision-making mechanism, or how it works. At this phase, we are also getting feedback from them on the diagnosis made by the machine, and also to cross-validate the diagnosis. And the user-level collaboration concerns the issues with UI, UX, as well as other concerns or preferences the end users have, such as providing more information about the problem, the technicality, and addressing the data privacy issues, etc. We've recently also included some parents in our advisory board. We believe this kind of involvement of clinicians and parents will allow us to tackle the obstacles we face, and it's going to faster the adoption phase of this technology. So what's the take-home message here? We need to empower the end users and inform them clear enough on what we do, and make them the part of the solution. We need to pay extra attention to their concerns, and then we need to address these concerns. Even at technical level, we need to work closely with clinicians regarding the feeding, training, and optimizing the algorithms. Also, we need to invest more in explainable algorithms if you want our products to be used by clinicians or doctors. Last but not least, data privacy and regulation issues have to be taken more seriously. Thank you for listening, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Dr. Güven. So at the present time, I see no question in the chat box. So maybe I will ask you one. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have an idea in digital health, but not much contact with clinicians, do you have any advice for those people?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I'm a clinician too, so I have a network, so it's been easier for me to build this network. But based on my experiences, I'm a clinician, I'm working here, but even with cold emails or like cold calls, I was able to reach out to people in the US and the clinicians or the hospitals. So they are open to collaborate or to understand if you're bringing something useful. And I think anyone who have this idea, who works on medical fields, can just try to reach out the clinicians in their region or the regulatory bodies, etc. So I think they're really open to collaborate with the entrepreneurs and the people who want to bring something useful, helpful for them.
Thanks. So now I see 2 questions in the chat box. So the first one, can this project detect issues such as stuttering?
Stuttering is in my field too. I would say stuttering is more obvious or noticeable compared to the rest of the speech language disorders. Right now, we don't. Our project don't focus on stuttering issues, but in the long term, it's one of our goals to include or bring something useful, especially for therapeutic purposes, because there's not much need for diagnosis of stuttering. Again, it's more noticeable, but for therapeutic purposes, we are thinking about bringing something.
Thanks, very interesting. The second question. Hi, can you tell us more about how the AI processes the information and provides diagnosis?
How the AI processes the information and makes the diagnosis. So we are getting the voice sample or speech sample from children or from individuals, and we are sending to our cloud platform. And then first, the machine recognizes or transcribes the speech, and then applies our machine learning algorithm for the classification purposes. So we already tested this with more than 300 children, this classification algorithm. So first, sending the speech sample to cloud, and then applying our machine learning classification algorithm to classify if it's real problem or not. So it's basically something like that. But I'll be happy if someone needs more technical information.
So I'd like to remind all the participants that there is a possibility to network using the platform SwapCard. So anyone that like to contact Dr. Güven could do it. I don't see other question in the chat box at the present time. So maybe could you share one last time your take-home lessons from your presentation?
Sure. Like I really, as a clinician, I would say, even if you are working in that field, or you have experience with the problem you are trying to tackle, I will highly recommend that people need to actively collaborate who are in the field and from different regions. So we need to empower our end users and making them part of the solution and addressing their concerns and needs. In this case, parents and clinicians were the end users. And we need to also, like technical level, we need to, because our solution is sensitive, and we are trying to diagnose and try to help these people. So we need to be very careful. We can't just get data and just train the algorithms and try to classify these. We need to be very careful if the data is clean or it's verified or not. So this requires also the collaboration with clinicians. And also we need to pay attention for the data privacy issues and the regulations related to these.
Thanks. So concerning the data, there is another question from Natalie Miara. She asked if the input is speech only, or there is also questions and also parents and teachers' observations.
You mean either it's audio only or the observations? We are using like multimodal. We are also getting their observations, but the algorithm mainly uses the audio input or speech input.